Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, continuing my theme of watching some of my favorite TV shows from my childhood and reruns, we're going to start with the Jeffersons, Volume 1. Let's watch. Episode 1, A Friend in Need.
Hey, this is a real nice apartment.
George wants to hire a maid.
Oh, thank you. It is all the Jeffersons. Are you right, Louis? He's a great joker.
She thought Louise was a maid.
He's not joking, Diane.
This episode features the first appearance of Mr. Bentley, and the first time George walking on his back.
Oh, you have wonderful rhythm in your feet.
George! And the rest are the mammies. I am not going to ask my friend to work for me. And for the last time, George, I do not want a maid.
We also see the first appearance of Tom and Helen Willis.
What are you two doing here? Basking in the warmth of your welcome.
Well, if you two baskers will excuse me.
We also see Lionel and Jenny for the first time.
Well, you don't know, aren't you going to say anything to him? I don't think that color blanket suits you, Jenny.
Okay, I'll take it off.
No!
Are you satisfied, Pop?
They don't fight because they're scared to fight. What's that supposed to mean? You know damn well what it means. If you two ever really started going at one another, inside of 5 minutes, he'd be calling you... Don't say nigga.
Mother Jefferson for the first time.
And made to look after this itty bitty apartment? Yes. Well. All the years I was married, bringing up a family in that great big house, we never had a maid.
I'm Florence Johnson, the agency secretary.
And here we meet Florence for the first time.
This is
Not a regular cast member yet.
10 o'clock on the dot, Louise.
Oh, I believe in being prompt, Mr. Jefferson. I always say I ain't got no right to waste time when other people is paying for it.
I hear you. She's got the job.
Mind if I ask you something?
No, go right ahead.
You live in this apartment, right? And you got an apartment in this building, too?
Yes, that's right.
Well, how come we overcame and nobody told me?
Episode 2, Louise feels useless.
Still, it must give you a
She's
mild
bored around the house.
fulfillment.
I hate it. He doesn't need me anymore. I don't care what they think. Well,
She wants to work at the cleaners.
George, I have spoken. Now here's $20. I want you to go to a matinee today. But I don't want to go. You're going anyway. You're going to learn how to enjoy life, whether you like it or not. Workshop. Okay.
She gets a job, but she doesn't realize
I'll see you all
this guy's a cleaner and one of George's competitors.
You I'll see tomorrow, regardless. Something else you've got to do. What? Read that card. Wexler's Cleaning and Dyeing. A cleaning store. Holy George, I signed up with the enemy. He's fighting up in front of your mother. But you know, like all the years we've been married, Louise has never done anything suspicious. Till now. I can work at the store? Sure. Oh, thank you, George. The new one I'm opening, up in the Bronx.
Episode 3, George's family tree.
What's the matter with you shooting off your mouth like that about some Ashantis and Tagomas? What was wrong with that? The Willises are coming up with senators and governors, and you coming up with a bunch of witch doctors and spear throwers.
Uko is an authority, and according to him, you are descended from African royalty.
Royalty? Oh, but that doesn't mean anything to George, Mr. Bentley. You see, he doesn't care about his ancestors. Isn't that right, George? King George. How'd you sleep last night? Like a baby. Good. Oh, good morning, Mother Jefferson. Did you sleep well? Not a wink.
A
The
mistake.
book says if there were any Dagomas hanging out with the Ashantis, it wasn't because they wanted to, it's because they got captured in war.
You trying to tell me that my ancestors were a bunch of POWs?
Well, only for a little while.
Episode 4, Lionel the Playboy.
Money.
No, I care about other things. How come you broke both yokes this morning?
I'm talking about our son. He's been going out every night of the week.
Why? Of course, when you got money, you're better than everybody else.
George is a bad influence on Lionel.
You know, that just could be the problem, because I've been thinking about dropping out for a while. Maybe indefinitely.
What? And throw away your whole future?
Look, no, I'm not. There's a whole lot of things to do in this world. Who knows? All right, you delivered your message, sweetheart, so why don't you just run along?
Why don't you go to hell?
When a boy starts acting disrespectful, that means he wasn't raised right.
Why don't you speak to your son?
I did, but he got married anyway. You're acting tonight.
Hey, I don't want to hear about it tonight, all right, Grandma?
I'm about to hit my grandson.
Eventually, Lionel wises up.
Liberace got that we ain't got.
Episode 5, Mr. Piano Man.
He's got a piano. That's what we need, a piano. Come on, you love it. See how good a piano makes them places look?
You're damn right I'm going to say it. You are a woman, a typical woman.
That's a terrible thing to say.
I don't think that's so terrible. I thought he's gonna call us.
John! They're cutting down on services any way they can. That's why we're trying to get everybody who's important in this building. You folks, the McAllisters, the Lockmans, the Whittingdales, the Nelsons.
Did you say Whittingdales?
George agrees to throw a big party because he believes Mr. Whittingdale will
I
show
go
up.
out to the store and you let those people bring in that monster of a piano. How could you have done that?
Well, you know, Miss Jefferson, I thought to myself, nothing but a crazy person would want something like that in here. But then I remembered I was working for your husband.
The phone for hours. I got held up in traffic. Whittingdale here? No, not yet, but everybody else is. Good. I want to be the first to welcome. What the hell is that?
He thinks Whittingdale's at the door. Turns out it's not Whittingdale, though. It's one of his lackeys. Mr. Whittingdale owns the building, and he's not happy about the tenants getting together.
Furthermore, I deeply resent the fact that you, our newest tenant, see fit to become a troublemaker by making unsubstantiated charges against the building management. And Mr. Jefferson, if these efforts don't cease immediately, we shall seek legal recourse. Signed, H.L. Wittenberg.
Home later. What you do a dumb thing like that for?
George's old friend Monk Davis called. Which George is not happy about.
I don't understand you. Why don't you want to see your best friend?
George has a
Never
secret,
got to give his mother the Christmas present.
and Monk Davis knows what that secret
When they
is.
got in front of the judge with no lawyer or nothing, he gave him a year in the slammer.
I see, and you feel that Louise and Lionel will lose respect for you if all this comes out.
Later, man. I ain't
He
never
threatens to tell Louise about his jail.
$1,000 to start.
Blackmail.
Hey, Pop. Hey, son. Oh. Jim. This is my friend, Monk Davis.
Monk? Well, that must be a fascinating way of life. Do you get out of the monastery very often?
George comes clean.
But when I was 15 years old, I was sent to jail.
You mean reformatory? Reformatory?
There will be no blackmail.
What's the matter with you, nigga? You flip? I'm giving you a chance to save your butt now. 4,
Episode 7.
5, 6, 7.
Lionel cries uncle.
You scared me half to death.
Well, what else can you call
Lionel's
a man
uncle.
who spent 20 years of his life being a slave for some rich dude in Hyannisport?
Was a
He
butler.
wasn't a slave, he was a butler.
Did he hurt his back?
What?
Well, you know, all that bowing and scraping and kissing people.
When? Like right now. Mother Jefferson!
Louise is proving she can lie.
How nice it is to see you.
Louise, you look
Uncle Bertram arrives. Uncle Ward, I mean.
Will that be all, sir?
And this is the first appearance of
I'll take it.
Ralph the Doorman.
Here you are, Ralph.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Jefferson, sir.
Oh, you're okay.
Mama got in trouble at school.
Thank God, that's all that matters.
I'm glad you feel that way. I just got kicked out of school. All right, well, you know what the peace sign is, right?
Yes.
Well, I just gave him half of it. No, I want you to go down there and fight to stay in that school. Except this time, use your brains instead of your hands. And show that dean who's the better man.
Yeah, you show him. What the problem is first.
Mr. Bentley accidentally locked himself out of his apartment getting his newspaper.
Stop playing peekaboo and come in.
Very well, if you say so.
Didn't you think there was something strange about Mr. Bentley?
Anybody who don't think of something strange about Bentley just ain't paying attention. That is one weird dude.
Marry him.
Say what?
This is episode 8, Mother Jefferson's
Herbie wants your
boyfriend.
mother to move to Florida with him. Isn't that great?
No, it ain't. What do you really know about this guy anyway?
You not to marry Louise.
I'm on your side.
I'm sorry, dear. Now see what you made me do. You made me say something mean about Louise.
But Mama, see,
They meet Herbert.
And I'm not on welfare.
Then you ain't got nothing.
Now, wait a minute. You got this all wrong. I'm retired. And I'm comfortably well off. Very well off. Don't I get a aha for that?
You may not know this, Louise, but I'm not the easiest person to get along with.
no.
Talk about it. You know, it's kind of embarrassing.
Hey, man, look, you're practically my papa. You can say anything.
Thank you, George. I don't want to marry your mother.
We break your heart.
Feeling is mutual.
Oh, really?
Now, don't try to talk me out of it. It's as hard for me as it is for you.
But, Olivia, I don't understand what...
The paper called him an indigent. Can't be nothing but a honky.
Episode 9, Meet the Press. George wants to get some free press.
What makes you say that?
Because a white wino is turned over to the Salvation Army, they call him an indigent. A black wino is busted, and they call him an inmate.
So he invites a reporter over.
Hello, George Jefferson speaking. Oh, yes, Mr. Moreno. Yes, I'm familiar with your paper.
He wants the Willises to come over.
Brilliant. Okay, if I buy the tickets and you come tonight,
I'll guarantee it.
okay. How much? $50.
A piece.
Florence is in this episode again.
Don't be nervous, Florence. George is out to make an impression tonight, so he's not going to be himself. He's going to be a perfect gentleman.
Well, okay, I'll try.
As you see, I'm a newspaper man. He's here to do a story about me.
He's more interested in the
From the
Willises.
series I've been writing on black capitalism. We've had tremendous response from our readers.
I can see why. The time is right for a book like that.
Yeah, but here it is.
Mr. Jefferson is that weirdo in a fox.
It's Mr. Bentley from the UN. His brother. Very good. Ain't you one story short? I mean, I own a chain of 5 cleaning stores. Started out with nothing. All right, but I only need one more article for my series on black businessmen. And Mrs. Willis's father is... I mean, that's a fantastic story. I mean, what about me?
Episode 10, Rich Man's Disease.
All right. Well, the doctor said I got an ulcer.
An ulcer? Oh, you... There's only one girl in the picture.
Oh, that girl? Nobody. You can throw that out. And we'll just clutter up the house with them.
She finds an old girlfriend of George's.
So I want to know who this clutter is.
I told you I don't know. Why don't you believe me?
You think of anything that's been aggravating him?
Well, I don't know. George gets upset when I disagree with him, when I argue with his mother, when I invite the Willises.
Louise is going to try to not stress George at all.
Stop doing those things.
Yeah. All right,
And how to
George,
not upset
don't
George?
get aggravated.
Hi, Louise. I'll bet you can't wait till you see this on your terrace.
Forget it. We're busy.
She lets them in when George goes to bed for a nap.
What's going on?
George, how did they get in here?
Turns out George loves stress.
Don't be honest, just do it out there.
He thrives on it.
What's the use of my trying to help you if you going ahead and getting yourself aggravated like that? That ain't aggravation, that's fun.
Advance notice, so I'm calling you now to tell you that I invited someone to dinner, okay? Good. Huh? Oh, you got plenty of time. You won't be there for a whole half hour.
Episode 11, Former Neighbors. Some neighbors from Harlem are going to come in for supper.
Free. Tell me I heard you wrong, Weezy.
You heard me wrong, Weezy.
But I didn't, did I?
That's right, you didn't. They're coming to dinner tonight.
They can't.
Why not? You just said you'd like to see them.
He's invited somebody else over instead. George doesn't think his old Harlem friends will mix well with the rich banker dude he's invited over.
Hey, Weezy! Roy and Natalie are here. Ooh, wait!
George convinced them that they probably didn't want to stay, so they decided to
I
leave.
got to thinking, Porky, buddy. You was looking so sad when I said you was going. I got to feeling real bad about you feeling bad. So, guess who's staying for dinner?
They're supposed to pretend that they're rich.
He's such a kid. Like all of you eccentric millionaires. Sam's. Strange I haven't heard of you before. Oh, that's because the restaurant's going to a different name. Oh, what's that?
Sambo's?
Hold on there, Lord.
Eventually, George kicks out
You ain't leaving.
the stuffy old banker for being rude.
What? When you learn how to conduct yourself proper in a man's house, like my friend here, you give me a call and I'll take it over.
Episode 12, Like Father, Like Son. Lionel is starting to act like George.
Look, man, now you better deliver today, otherwise I'm gonna stop payment on the check, you did? So unless you can find another dude who's shaped exactly like me, you're gonna be stuck with a tuxedo.
At least $100.
$350.
He bought Lionel a watch.
$350 for a watch? Nigga, please.
Word.
The Willises are backing two different
Crazy black dude. Look at that, Weezy.
politicians.
He not only married, but even votes for him.
Tom, you've got the wrong posted.
No, I haven't.
But you're for Pomeroy.
No, Helen. You just assumed I was for Palmer.
This is no time for tokenism.
And I say blacks need more representation.
Is that why you married me, for representation?
Don't be ridiculous, Helen. I didn't marry you because you're black.
But you would have voted for me just because I'm black.
No, it ain't. Look, in politics, you don't call it driving. It's making a contribution. And what if that don't work either? Lionel, you gotta have faith in the system. It always works. There's an old saying, if you got the dough, they don't say no.
Tom eventually flips
A
candidates.
whitey never changes spots.
How dare you call my husband Whitey?
Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry I called you whitey, honky.
You did it.
Hey, what are you getting so mad
Lionel
about?
paid off somebody so she could get on a committee.
Right?
Not that way. I wanted to work my way up, get there on my own ability, not through a $200 payoff.
$200?
You must have a real low opinion of me.
You had a brother, Jenny?
Episode 13, Jenny's Low.
Would you excuse me? I gotta go.
We meet her half-brother, or actually her full brother, Alan.
Well, not just yet, anyway.
Worry isn't right. I need a 5-letter word meaning headache.
How about in-law?
I tell you what else we're not gonna do. We're not gonna leave here till we do talk about it.
It's the first episode where we meet Charlie the bartender.
Are you kidding?
With crowds like this, I may stay open all night. That's even better.
Alan is white.
Nobody.
Mr. Jefferson, I'm Alan Willis.
You Jenny's brother?
That's right.
Huh. I thought a zebra was bad enough. Now we got us a palomino.
At least he always says what he thinks.
Jenny gives Alan the cold shoulder.
What he says.
And he doesn't talk out of both sides of his mouth.
Alan and George play dozens.
Give me room. Now look, you better get off my back and leave me alone, because the teeth you saved will be your own.
Are you saying that that's what I wanted to look white?
No. But I am saying that you've looked at me and thought, why him?
Just what my father said when I married you.
Well, when I go searching for a man, my pet, a shrimp like you could never fill my net.
Your mama.
All right, let's talk about the Jeffersons, Volume 1, Season 1. It was an abbreviated season, only 13 episodes, because it started in January of 1975, so it was a mid-season replacement. This is a show that I've always loved. It's probably in my top 5 favorite shows of all time. The first several seasons were great, and it kind of tapered off over the last few, but nonetheless, it remains one of my all-time favorite shows. It started out as a spin-off of All in the Family. The Jeffersons, both Louise and George, appeared on several episodes of All in the Family, as did Lionel, their son. As we start season 1 here, Mr. Jefferson has just, I think, recently moved into this penthouse, deluxe apartment in the sky in New York City, and he's now a successful dry cleaner. He owns a string of dry cleaning stores, I think 5 or 6 at this point. He's basically the black equivalent of Archie Bunker. He's very insulting. He's very high on himself, egotistical. He's a braggart, and he's a little bit of a racist. He uses the word honky a lot, which isn't quite as bad as the N-word, but nonetheless, he flows off his tongue real easy. Actually, the N-word is used several times in this first season by some of the main characters, actually. Not in an insult way, more of like a friendly type of way, but nonetheless, it's there. Sign of the times. You can't get away with that much these days, but nonetheless, it was there. So anyway, I love this show. Season 1 introduced us to George and Louise. Lionel, played by Mike Evans, is here. He was the Lionel on All in the Family as well. He was replaced after season 1 by Damon Evans, no relation, and then Mike Evans came back in season 6. I can't remember the reasons why. I'll have to look that up, but I think he just left the show because he was pursuing something else at the time. We also introduced to his fiancée, Jenny, the Willises, Tom and Helen. We see Florence for the first time here. Florence, I believe, appears in 3 episodes, including the very first one, but she's not a main character yet, but she's about to come on, I think, in season 2. She becomes a regular when she kind of moves in as the maid. In this case, she's only appearing as maid, and she comes to the house, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week, so she's not a regular character yet. It's coming, though. We see Mr. Bentley. He shows up in episode 1, as well as a few other episodes as well, and Charlie the bartender, one of the last episodes in season 1, shows up. Also, Ralph the doorman, a recurring character, shows up. I think we only see him in maybe 2 episodes. I'm not sure, but he plays a bigger role later on too. So anyway, I like it. I think it's funny. It just makes me laugh a lot still. I think this still stands up to today. Some of the references are a little dated. There's references to President Ford, but nonetheless, the humor is still very, very good. Oh, and I also forgot Zara Kelly as Mother Jefferson. She appears here as well as somebody who doesn't like Louise. But anyway, check it out. It's the Jeffersons, season 1. You can get this. You can get an entire box set of these, which I have. I'm just watching the individual one here, but it's a great show. Let me know what you think about it. I'm sure everybody's seen it. Leave some comments down below. We'll talk about it. It's called The Jeffersons, and it's season 1. Watch it. Bye.